This emotional Zoom courtroom hearing unfolds just days before Christmas, as Mr. Kelly stands before Judge Sanders hoping for a chance to go home. What should have been a simple bond matter turns serious when the judge reviews a missed court date connected to a 2020 theft charge, an absence that led to Mr. Kelly's bond being revoked. Mr. Kelly tells the court he never tried to run. He explains that he paid his bondsman $500 and believed transportation to court would be handled. When that didn't happen, he says everything fell apart. Trying to show good faith, Mr. Kelly emphasizes that he turned himself in voluntarily and has recently started a new job that he fears losing if he remains in jail. Judge Sanders listens carefully but pushes back, explaining that a bondsman's role is only to post bail, not to manage court appearances. Responsibility, the judge makes clear, still rests with the defendant. In the end, Judge Sanders refuses to override the existing no-bond hold. While an emergency motion is mentioned as the only possible option, the decision means Mr. Kelly will remain in custody through Christmas, with his next hearing scheduled for early January. A tense reminder that in the courtroom, timing and accountability can decide everything, especially during the holidays.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm Judge Sanders. We're just having a docket call today. That's the purpose of this. And what it is, Mr. Kelly, is that's a 2020 case that you had. And apparently, the state is requesting that your probation on that case be revoked and that you.
Yes, sir. So, I bonded out on that case, correct? And I paid the bondsman $500 to get me to court. When I called the bondsman tells me he's out of town. So I called Judge Sanderfield's office 3 times. Then I called the court clerk 3 times, and I called the district attorney's office and try to get a Zoom link. They told me they couldn't give me a Zoom link on the case. So I called back my bondsman. He says, well, what you need to do is start walking. So I called my attorney, Watts, at the time, and he said there was nothing he could do for me. So 10 days ago, I just got a new job working at Kohl's, making $27 an hour. 10 days ago, on Friday the 13th, I go turn myself in to Sedgwick County to get this taken care of. And then, I guess they finally just get a hold of you guys a couple of days ago on the 20th and said that I was ready to be picked up. But I turned myself in. I did everything I was supposed to do to try to get to court on back in July. I called everybody I could, tried the judge, everybody, so my bond wouldn't get revoked. And then, I turned myself in on my own accord to try to get this taken care of. So I'm just hoping to see if I can get a bond today, so I can be home for Christmas. I did do my part of turning myself in and did everything I could back in July to get here. And I just want to get this taken care of. It's a 4-year-old case, sir. And like I said, I just got a $27 an hour paying job, and I just would like to get it taken care of,
It looks like back in June, your judge revoked your bond. You failed to appear.
Yes.
The court issued a bench warrant and a no bond hold.
Yes, sir. I understand that because I didn't show up in court, but it wasn't my fault. I paid the bondsman $500 to get me here, and he couldn't get me here. It was his duty to get me here when I paid him $500. I bonded out and gave him $500 to make sure I got here. And then when he told me he couldn't get me here, I called everybody I could. The judge's chambers. I called the district attorney. I called everybody I could, and it was all documented. I even called Mr. Watts, my lawyer at the time, and no one could help me out. But now that I got this new paying job, I turned myself in on my own accord. I figured I should at least be able to get a bond so I can I'm trying to do what's right here, by turning myself in and getting this taken care of. And
That it's up to your bondsman to get you to court.
Well, I paid him $500 to make sure I got here.
How much was your bond?
5,000.
Well, that's just the bondsman's fees for putting the money up for you. That's not the,
I figure that's
that's not
ain't
to
it their
pick you
job
up
to
and
make sure
haul
I
you to
get here?
court.
Ain't it their job to make sure I get to court though?
No, not unless you got some special arrangement with him, and that's nothing that the court has to do. And that's just his fee to make a bond for you so that you don't have to put up any money. Well, all right. In any event, Judge Satterfield has set that as a no bond hold. She wants to see you before she'd even consider bond, and I'm not going to do a sideways appeal on this and overrule her. So
I can't get no bond.
nope, no bond. Now, what they have done is give you a special setting, expedited hearing on your case, and this is for bond revocation. And it's at 1:30 on January the 3rd. And that's to be in person.
And Your Honor,
And no bond until that time. Yes, Mr. Regier.
based off of the state's information, that is a 1 o'clock setting, but I believe it is an in-person setting on January 3rd.
I thought I said that. Maybe I didn't. Yeah, it's in person, right?
That is the state's understanding, Your Honor.
Yes, I understand that too. So, that
So I'm
looks
gonna be
like
sitting
where it
here
is.
till January 3rd.
What?
I'm gonna be sitting here till January 3rd after I've been sitting in jail 10 days.
Yes. Well, then I suggest that you do. I take it that you don't have money for a lawyer, and Mr. Watts had previously represented you. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What you might do, because I'm at this point, I'm going to go ahead and reappoint him for you, is you might get a hold of him and see.
Ain't no way of getting a hold of him. I've been trying to get a hold of him for a week.
You have his number?
Yeah, I got his number. My wife got his number. My mom got his number. We all been trying to get a hold of him for a week. I've been sitting in Sedgwick County Jail for a week.
Well, I'd suggest that maybe you try to give him a call this afternoon. If in any event,
How's that gonna help me any?
well, he could maybe file an emergency motion with Judge Satterfield, because I'm not going to overrule another judge here on that.
All right, so I guess we done here then.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you. You're excused.
Your Honor, could you repeat the time for the January 3rd date,
Yes.
please?
It's January the 3rd at 1 p.m. and she wants that in person. So I take it that means he needs to be at the courthouse.
This tense Zoom courtroom hearing takes place just days before Christmas, and from the very first moments, the stakes are clear. Mr. Kelly appears on screen from jail, knowing that this conversation may determine whether he spends the holidays with his family or behind bars. The charge itself isn't new, it goes all the way back to a 2020 theft case, but what brings him here now is a missed court date that triggered a chain reaction he clearly didn't anticipate. Judge Sanders opens the hearing by laying out the situation in a calm but firm tone. There is already a no bond hold in place, issued by another judge after Mr. Kelly failed to appear in court months earlier. Today's hearing is not about retrying the original charge, but about whether there is any legal basis to override that hold and allow Mr. Kelly to be released, even temporarily, before Christmas. From the judge's posture and wording, it's clear this won't be an easy sell. Mr. Kelly is given the chance to speak, and he wastes no time trying to explain himself. He insists that he never intended to skip court. According to him, He paid his bondsman $500 and believed that transportation to court would be handled as part of that process. He describes waiting, expecting to be taken to court, only for that transportation to never arrive. By the time he realized something had gone wrong, the damage was already done. He tells the judge that he didn't hide or run. Instead, he claims he turned himself in voluntarily once he understood there was a problem. To Mr. Kelly, this is proof that he was acting in good faith and trying to clean up the situation rather than avoid responsibility. As he speaks, his frustration is obvious, not just with the legal system, but with what he sees as a misunderstanding that spiraled out of control. Mr. Kelly then shifts to what he stands to lose if he remains in custody. He explains that he recently started a new job at Kohl's and that staying in jail could cost him that opportunity. He frames his request not just as a personal plea, but as a chance to stay employed and move forward with his life. With Christmas approaching, his voice grows more emotional. Spending the holidays in jail, he says, would be devastating. Judge Sanders listens, but when he responds, the tone changes. The judge makes it very clear that there is a fundamental misunderstanding at the center of Mr. Kelly's argument. A bondsman, the judge explains, is paid to post bond, nothing more. The fee does not buy transportation, reminders, or personal assistance in getting to court. Attending court is ultimately the defendant's responsibility, regardless of any assumptions or expectations. The judge's explanation is direct and leaves little room for debate. Even if Mr. Kelly genuinely believed someone else would handle his transportation, that belief does not excuse a failure to appear. The court system, Judge Sanders emphasizes, cannot operate on assumptions. When a defendant misses court, the consequences are serious, especially when that absence leads to a bond revocation ordered by another judge. As the discussion continues, it becomes increasingly clear that Judge Sanders does not see himself as having the authority, or the justification, to override the existing no-bond hold. He explains that the hold was imposed by Judge Satterfield, and without a proper motion or new legal grounds, he will not step in and undo that decision. This isn't about sympathy or timing, it's about procedure and judicial boundaries. Mr. Kelly tries again, emphasizing that he has already spent days in jail and that keeping him locked up through Christmas feels excessive. He stresses that he's not a danger, that he's trying to work, and that he simply wants a chance to prove he can comply going forward. The emotional weight of the holiday hangs over the entire exchange, even if it goes unspoken. Judge Sanders acknowledges the timing but remains unmoved. He explains that holidays, while important on a personal level, do not change the legal framework of the case. The judge reiterates that his hands are tied unless a proper emergency motion is filed. That, he says, is the only possible avenue for Mr. Kelly to seek release before the next scheduled hearing. To ensure Mr. Kelly has representation moving forward, Judge Sanders reappoints his previous attorney, Mr. Watts. He suggests that if there is any argument to be made for emergency relief, counsel will need to make it formally and quickly. Even then, the judge offers no promises. The implication is clear, even an emergency motion would be an uphill battle. The court then turns to scheduling. An expedited in-person hearing is set for January 3 at 1 p.m. It's sooner than usual, but still too late to change the immediate reality. That date confirms what Mr. Kelly has likely already realized, Christmas will come and go while he remains in custody. As the hearing draws closer to its end, Mr. Kelly makes one last effort to be heard. He speaks about the emotional toll of being in jail, about the fear of losing his job, and about the impact of missing Christmas. His words reflect a mixture of regret, frustration, and desperation. For him, this isn't just a legal matter, it's a moment that could shape his future. Judge Sanders responds with professionalism but firmness. He reiterates his ruling and explains once more that he cannot grant release under the current circumstances. The law, he emphasizes, must be applied consistently, regardless of timing or personal hardship. The decision stands. When the hearing ends, the outcome is clear. Mr. Kelly remains in custody, subject to the no bond hold, with only a slim procedural path forward through an emergency motion. The holidays offer no exception, no pause, and no shortcut. This courtroom exchange serves as a powerful reminder of how quickly things can unravel when a court date is missed, even unintentionally. It highlights the rigid structure of the justice system, where misunderstandings, whether real or perceived, carry real consequences. And it underscores a hard truth. In court, responsibility ultimately rests with the defendant, no matter how complicated the circumstances may feel. For Mr. Kelly, Christmas will be spent waiting, reflecting, and hoping that the next hearing brings a different outcome. For viewer, the hearing offers a sobering look at how procedure, accountability, and timing collide, sometimes at the worst possible moment.